Hmm. What should we read today? Wait a minute. Alright, let's check this one out. Alright, welcome back to another Culz Book Reviews. Today we are checking out Max Hawthorne's Monsters and Marine Mysteries. Now, if you have followed the channel, either from our old channel or this channel, you should know who Max Hawthorne is, as we've done book reviews of his books.
Kronos Rising by Max Hawthorne. The sequel to it, Kronos Rising Kraken Volume 1 by Max Hawthorne.
Or on this channel, we've actually done an interview with him.
Most people know me for the Kronos Rising series of, I guess you call it dinosaur fiction or paleo fiction, as a lot of people call it.
Link above. Judging by the title, this is obviously about monsters and marine mysteries. And essentially that is what it is. Max takes a look at different, either well-known or lesser-known or personal experiences with sea monsters, quote-unquote, or unknown animals. And he does debunk one, as Trunko, obviously, but some of them match up with a, Tylosaur and mosasaur, as you can see over there, or a rather large shark. So let's get into a little bit more information about the book itself. Alright, so real quick we'll take a look. Cover art is fantastic as always. You always know Max puts a lot of work into getting his cover art just right. This one's no different, showing obviously a large size Kraken. Pretty neat. Back just tells a little bit about it, as well as a little bit about Max and where you can find him. This one does clock in at a big old 343 pages, but it was a really fast read for me because it was so fascinating. So one thing you might notice as we flip through is Max either puts references to what he is talking about or drawings as far as what the actual monsters might be, and I thought that was really cool because it really does help visualize more about some of these crazy sea monsters in here. The sea monsters I found most interesting obviously was the giant sea turtle, which if you follow him on his Facebook, he has talked about it in length, and so it was really cool to see it not even just fleshed out in one chapter but multiple chapters. There's some more there, and it was awesome. So overall, if there was a sea monster story that I enjoyed, it was his giant, like, carnivorous leatherback like sea turtle that ate the great white shark. I thought that was fascinating. Like I said, he did talk about it more on his Facebook page, which will include all his links in the description below, so check those out. But yeah, that was my favorite part. I don't want to give away too much because I think that's the fun of reading this. Just know there's a lot of fascinating ones between mosasaurs, tylosaurs, a giant Kaiju Whale Shark. There's a Bigfoot at one point. There's some giant sharks, a Megalodon maybe, giant groupers. Lots of great stuff. Kraken, obviously, giant squid. The list goes on. Lots of good stuff. Alright, so let's get into writing style. If you've read any of Max's books, you can really tell his voice. It's, again, something that shines through here and helps the book not go into just a almost textbook feel, where a lot of these type of books can fall into, where people are just, here's the facts, here's this, and it can feel like a slog to read. This one, much like his other books, Kronos Rising, or even his Memoirs of a Gym Rat, you can tell his voice. It's very distinctive, and each sighting is exciting. You never get bored. At least I didn't. I couldn't put it down. I was always excited to read it. This was a super fast read for me, even though it did clock in at the pages mentioned earlier. I read it super fast because I was very excited to read it, and it kept me hooked. Like, I would devour multiple pages on a 15-minute break. I'd probably do 20 to 30 pages on a 15, like it was that good. So overall, do I recommend it? Of course. Just like any of Max's books, I did go into this expecting it to be good. Ever since I read Kronos Rising for the first time, I always go into his knowing, A, it's going to deliver, and B, it's going to be pretty good, and probably pretty high up on our list for books read in that year. And this one's no different. In fact, this one I think might be my favorite book he's written so far. Right now I'm teetering at between an 8 and a 9 out of 10. It's really good. Like I told you, it kept me involved. I could not wait to read another one. And I hope at some point maybe there's a sequel to this one. You know, that would be really cool if Max were able to delve into even more stories. I would really enjoy that. So yeah, I definitely highly recommend it. If you're a fan of cryptids or a fan of sea monsters or just prehistory in general, check this one out. It's really well researched and it's fascinating from beginning to end. Even the story he said, you know, people might judge him on at the end, I enjoyed. I thought it was fascinating. Again, we do a lot of paranormal stuff, but there's a lot of good science in here as far as different ways of why he calculated things to be the way they were. So I enjoyed it top to bottom. Alright, so if you enjoyed this and want to see more Culz Book Reviews, click that link in the top left hand corner. And if you want to see Max Hawthorne's interview, click the link in the bottom left corner. To see more about us here at Culz Paranormal, click the link to the right. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And let us know, have you ever had a sea monster encounter?